The Bay Area landscape is still covered with large tech companies and countless tech startups, but the map is increasingly dotted with biotech startups. Apple is making constant strides in healthcare, so much so that Tim Cook recently said there will be a day we look back and say Apple's greatest contribution to mankind has been in healthcare. And believe it or not, Google's DeepMind is leading the field in protein engineering. Today, humankind is experiencing a revolution in science that will save and transform our lives. From microbiome manipulation to genomic sequencing, biotechnology promises an exciting future. But what does it really take to build a biotech startup that will last? In comes my next guest, Brian Conn, who has served as the CFO of numerous biotech companies over 2 decades, where he has raised over $300 million for his companies and completed 20 M&A deals. He's seen it all. In labs where stress levels are at an all-time high, where millions are burned before a product is seen in market. Today, Brian is the CFO of genomic sequencing startup Quantapore, is co-founder of a synthetic biology company Levadura, and is an advisor for VC firm General Inception. You don't want to miss it. You talked about sort of the big players and how there was a lot of money and you're competing with someone who has a lot more than you do. And the world of competition in biotech, as you are dealing with right now in Quantapore, with Illumina having 90% of the market share. How do you think?
But yeah, it's almost all of it.
Yeah. So as you know, I mean, we have a lot of startup founders here, and I see my next guest coming on as well, who's leading companies that are trying to solve big problems, right? But of course, there will always be incumbents in some way, big names that sometimes you feel, how am I going to compete with them? How do you think about this, especially when they sort of feel like they have such a head start?
So I did work for an Illumina type company 15 years ago. That was Merck Millipore, and at the time, they owned the lab water industry, providing purified, purification systems for labs. I mean, they were the Kleenex of that industry, and really good company. And I still have lots of friends there, and I think they're as well of a run company as I've ever, but not nimble at all. They moved in a straight line. They knew what they were going to do for the next 10 years. You could not bring an R&D project that didn't have at least a $20 million NPV, and businesses that I've been, you stitch together hundreds of $1 million NPV projects and build a business out of that. And so Millipore bought my company, and that business unit didn't grow for 3 years after they bought us, and we were growing 25% organically. And again, great company. I don't have anything bad to say about Millipore, but they just couldn't be nimble enough. So what we did is we just followed all the research going on at the NIH and developed reagents to assist that research. And we're really quick to bring out new products. And when things didn't sell, we'd throw them in a dumpster and move on to the next product. It was probably not efficient, but it was very effective. So that's what I think the small companies can do better than any large, entrenched, lazy, monopoly company, is think fast, move fast, and also take risks. So Illumina's market cap is, I think, $55 billion. They can't do anything to risk that. If they drop 10%, $5 billion has been lost. So they have a harder time taking risks. If Quantapore goes down, $75 million has been lost. That's it. Nobody's gonna
only $75 million. I don't think your investors will like to hear that, though.